I'm Dougie DeFreitas with you on your nice station, 2% radio, 98% love. Today I have Chester Connell with me in the studio, and we're going to deal with an issue of ordination of Alandos Williams. But Living Faith topic today is on material things. Our God is in heaven. Whatever he wills, he does. Their idols are silver and gold, their handiwork of men. At Psalm 115 verses 3 to 4. Living Faith speaks to the issue of material things, but certainly Alandos is not looking for material things, because when you enter the priesthood, you are entering the priesthood married to the church. So Chester and us will discuss that just now, but I want us to give you this piece of exhortation. It says in both Old and New Testament, we are reminded again and again that we owe our allegiance not to a thing in the material realm, but to God that transcends it. And yet idols of silver and gold constantly pull our attention away. In the time of these psalms that they were written, many people worship metal statues, believing the idols themselves contain their gods. It can still mean something like that when a symbol to aid our worship becomes the object of worship itself. But anytime we put some material desire ahead of God's will, we are worshiping an idol. If I'll do anything to get a big house, I am making worldly success an idol. If I let someone else be blamed for my mistake, I am making my reputation an idol. But we can return at any moment. God of heaven and earth, we know we sometimes put material things ahead of you. Please help us to let them go and return to your love and faithfulness, that we may be restored. So that's the exhortation on the piece of psalm, and as we said a while ago, the issue of material things is an important factor. And when one is giving up all the things in the world to become a priest, surely you are making sure that you tell God that he is truly first in your life. I have Chester Connell with me.
Good morning, Dougie.
How are you this morning?
Very well indeed.
Well, we say nice, great.
Nice, great and wonderful, yes.
You've been doing a documentary on Alandos' ordination, or leading up to his ordination.
Indeed.
Which is Saturday the 4th at 3 p.m. at the Cathedral of the Assumption in Kingstown.
Correct.
How things are going with you in this documentary?
It's exciting, Dougie. It really is exciting. You know, God works in mysterious ways, His wonders to perform, and God is such a wonderful God. The world is a wonderful place, despite all the terrors and corruption and bombings that we see. God is still in control. And Alandos, I say this without reservation, I think Alandos is a representation of what God is looking for in a priest and in a person. And here's this young man from Fancy, and to me, I always look for relationship between Jesus and other people. The question is, I ask myself, how would Jesus respond to this? Are you being like Jesus? And when I look at Alandos, I'm not saying he's this perfect gift from heaven, but here's this young man from Fancy. Jesus was from Nazareth. Nazareth was this town that nobody cared to see. It was in the back of nowhere.
The Bible speaks on an issue where it says, could anything good come out of
from Nazareth? Right. Fancy, I'm not discrediting the fanciers, the people from Fancy, but the reality is that the British pushed the Kalinago further and further and further back off all the good lands, off all the great mountains, back across the river.
The reservation.
The reservations. And even up to modern times, the modern political parties, the government of the day, pushed people back until recent times, when certain political parties started to pave roads and do good things for the people. So Alandos, A-L-A-N, not Orlando, but Alandos, is from Fancy. He grew up there in Fancy for 13 years. And he is from a poor people, from a rural country. But yet, he says, in fact, that he defines poverty as being able to share what little you have. And his experience coming out of poverty, out of Fancy, is that he was he had a warm, joyful, normal childhood, he said, where his grandmother brought him up and taught him how to take care of himself, how to wash, cook, and iron, and taught him that he must believe in God. So out of this, just like in Nazareth, here you had this person, Jesus Christ, who came out of this worst place, if you will, and so Alando, I've discovered, is this very humble, diminutive, he's probably about 5'2" or something, very small, but what a powerful person he is.
Has a big voice too.
Has a big voice, you know, and he speaks clearly, he enunciates, and he has intelligence and content in his delivery. And he spent 6 years in seminary, and you can see the education coming out.
And 1 year as a transient deacon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's just come back from retreat in Barbados, and he is filled, I would say that he is filled with the Spirit. And doing the documentary on him, Lucina and myself have been traveling to Fancy with him, following him, talking to his aunts and his friends from childhood and people who knew him, and his aunt who brought him up when he went to Stubbs at 13 into grammar school, and following his life. We've also been talking to Father Mike, of course, Monsignor Claudius St. Michael Stewart, I found out his whole name is. It's amazing what you find out when you're doing documentaries. And all the wonderful people in the Catholic Church, you know. I'm trying to say all in a mouthful here, but the point I would like to make, Dougie, is that